Good morning. This is Tom Withy from Goshen Education Consulting, and we are working on an IARSS student attrition study where we're looking at attendance, enrollment, and demographic data from school districts within Area 5 and trying to understand the enrollment and attendance patterns surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. So looking at how student attendance and enrollment have changed from before the pandemic to during and now as we're exiting the pandemic. So this is online where you can access this. This link is included in the email. The first thing you're probably going to want to do is expand this so that it's full screen. And the first thing that I want to point out is that this right now is a mock-up because the data is not all available yet. ISB has changed their deadlines and the data won't be completely available until July 31st. After July 31st, we will have all the data and be able to finish our analysis. So the data that is here is from 2 school districts, and it's enough to get us kind of started and show you some of the things that we're interested in and that we're looking at. So this first chart up here is percent attendance as recorded by the school districts and reported to IARSS, where we took the in-person, remote, and e-learning days as days present, and then the in-person, e-learning, remote, excused absence, unexcused absence, homebound, and medically hospitalized added together to get a total days and use that for our percent attendance. And as you can see, in April, we saw 100% attendance. And that made us question the data. And so we looked a little further. And what we found was that students were not necessarily being reported absent, in the sense that the total number of days for students by month varied greatly. There were several cases we saw where students were enrolled for the whole month, but they didn't have the same number of total days for that month. And so we went and looked up the school calendars and used the total days from the school calendar to calculate our percent attendance. Now we recognize that within that, there are school improvement days and things like that, but those are similar across the entire school. And so taking a look at this chart, we see that major drop off in March of 2020, and attendance is not back up in April or May, but it's closer. But then in August, we see this big drop off again at the start of the 2021 school year. So far, for our current analysis, we don't see a huge change in enrollment across these 2 school districts. And we are going to provide some demographics that you can pick through the data. And as this is an interactive display, so if you click a chart, each chart will update based off of that chart. So if I'm just curious about free and reduced lunch, it's going to update and show me just those students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. If I'm just interested in elementary schools, I can select all the lower grade levels and look at just elementary schools. And I see a drop off in enrollment in just elementary schools. To do a multi-select, you just hold Control while you click. We have a couple other pages in here where we're trying to expand out our analysis. The next page here, we're looking at that discrepancy between the attendance as it was reported to IARSS and as we calculated it using the school calendar. And so this is that difference in percentage. And we see that huge spike in May of 2020 and March of 2020, and then April and May. And then there's that change in August. We see some other discrepancies in here as well that are kind of interesting to think about. We'll be curious to see if these pan out as we have more districts involved in our study. Additionally, we wanted to break things out by grade level. So this is attendance based off the school calendar, broken out by grade level, where 0 is kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, all the way up through seniors in high school. And enrollment, broken up from kindergarten all the way up through seniors in high school. We're seeing this huge jump right here. Again, we only have 2 districts involved, and one of those districts was a high school only district. And so this is probably that one high school, and then this is the other unit school district. Additional way that we are thinking about splitting out the data is by looking at the different types of districts. So here's that high school district, here's the unit district. We'll also have elementary districts. We're also planning on adding in data about urbanicity, so rural versus urban versus suburban. And we are open to suggestions on other ways of slicing out this data. Again, so this is just the initial mock-up, just to demonstrate where our analysis is at and what we're thinking. Thank you.